Gentleman from Georgia.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. We've made it halfway. It's Wednesday, December 18th. I'm here with Al, Brandon, Lindsay, and I'm Tori. Let's get right to it. It's a very historic day in Washington. President Trump is set to become the third president ever to be impeached. This is a live look at the House of Representatives, where they are debating articles of impeachment, two of them. Now, the vote is expected later on today. We will keep you updated. But last night in cities all across the country, tens of thousands of people rallied in favor of impeachment. They held signs with messages like impeach and remove and unpresident him. Meantime, the president is, of course, tweeting this morning, insisting he did nothing wrong. In fact, he denied all responsibility. Take a look.
Mr. President, do you take any responsibility for the fact that you're about to be impeached?
No, I don't take any, zero, to put it mildly.
Zero, to put it mildly. That's the least mildly way you could put it. All right, tonight the president is holding a Merry Christmas rally with the vice president in Battle Creek, Michigan. So I wanted to ask you guys what this means for the country. Is this a good day? Is this a bad day? How do you feel? Third ever in American history. This is a major moment in our politics.
I think there's like a real divide in how the country feels about this. So you have Representative Collins on one hand saying these are the two weakest articles of impeachment he's ever seen in his life. You have Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell both saying we are exactly in line with the president. We're not moving forward doing anything in the Senate. And so I think the country is kind of like, we spent millions of dollars already on this. Why are we doing this? Some people really don't understand why we're doing this. And so, you know, I also don't understand. I think that we had a very partisan impeachment trial. A lot of things went wrong when, if they would have taken the time, they could have went right. Like, we had some people speak, different law professors who are clearly biased. And so a lot of people are saying, when you cloud the impeachment with all that stuff, why are we moving forward? Let's just worry about 2020.
Brandon, what's your response?
That line Lindsay's talking about, where half the side is like, impeach him, get him out of there. But the other side, like you were saying, Republican Doug Collins saying that there was no crime. There is no crime. But back in 1999, when we were talking about the Clinton impeachment, Lindsey Graham had to say this about finding a crime when it comes to impeaching a president.
So the point I'm trying to make is you don't even have to be convicted of a crime to lose your job in this constitutional republic. If this body determines that your conduct as a public official is clearly out of bounds in your role.
So that's what makes it kind of... I'm kind of confused when it comes to that, because he's kind of backtracking now and being Team Trump. But back in the day, he was saying you don't need for there to be a crime to be impeached.
Andrew Johnson was actually impeached for rude speech.
Oh, wow. Times have changed.
That wouldn't fly today.
But it's against the office of the presidency, yes. Meaning in the same realm. How do you feel?
I mean, he sought out a foreign government for help in 20. He was looking at 2020. He's looking for help against Biden. He saw that as his main competition. He was looking for some dirt on him. He sought a foreign government. That's against our Constitution. That's not up for debate. We've had people on both sides acknowledge. Even Mick Mulvaney, who was his press secretary at the time, said it. He said it was a quid pro quo. Get over it. So I don't think people are saying that he didn't do it. Now, do people want to move forward with impeachment? No, I don't think. I think half the country doesn't, but I don't think that half the country wants to do anything that Donald Trump tells them not to do it or to do it. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about a partisan situation with human beings that flat out don't like each other.
And I don't want to be blindsided by the process, right? So we know that tonight Trump is having a rally at the exact time of the vote of impeachment that already 10,000 people are saying they're going to go to.
It's what the Michael Jackson state did.
But it's also in Michigan, which is the swing state that won Trump the presidency. So we just have to be aware that as we're doing this impeachment stuff, he's also moving forward and rallying his base. And that's all I'm saying.
But his base wasn't going anywhere anyway. So, you know, so what does it matter? And like, I think the Battle Creek, Michigan thing, it's like when Michael Jackson, when they had the documentary of the accused, he ran the 1988 concert that I think he put on in London. It's what you do to distract and say, hey, if you support Michael Jackson, watch this, don't watch that. And I think it's the same thing with Trump. Look, no one's like deciding. There's no undecided voters, and if you are, I would say don't vote at this point. If you don't know what you want at this point, don't vote. Like, everybody's made their decision. We are a country that's literally split down the middle. So let's proceed like that. But let's not act like something that we say on this panel or something that somebody reads is going to change anybody's mind. People's minds were made up 3 years ago.
The good thing is the Constitution doesn't change. It stays the same, and we follow that form. To me,
Doesn't the
it's a
Constitution
success.
have amendments?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Okay.
Whatever.
We
We have a great conversation, though. Very good. Everyone's like, oh, okay, Tori. God, it's like the whole point of the Constitution is to change. All right, whatever. This is a shocking update to a story we covered yesterday. A 16-year-old's apparent kidnapping, caught on camera, if you remember, right in front of her mom in New York, may have been staged. Multiple sources confirm that the girl, Carol Sanchez, admitted it was a hoax. Sanchez was reunited with her family yesterday, and so far, no charges have been filed. I do want to say that she was trying to get with her. There was something with a boyfriend here. Is that right?
Yep.
Well, listen, I'm glad that Carol's okay. I'm not going to bash her. She's this little girl who's apparently, there's boyfriend allegedly. We didn't
Right,
get the
there's some
story.
issues there,
New York
right?
Times is saying she had issues with her mom. She didn't want to move back to Honduras. But I want to piggyback off what Erica, our co-host, was saying at a different show yesterday. She was saying that, you know, black girls and boys go missing at a way more rapid rate than their white counterparts. So we make up 14% of this country in children, but 37% of missing cases in this country. And so those numbers are crazy, almost like the prison rates. And so we have to look at this and say, national news media coverage is important for these topics because that's the only way we can rally people and find people like we did with Carol. So unfortunately, this has like kind of watered down the situation, but I hope not enough that people won't continue to cover these stories.
And Lindsay, I agree with you. I mean, I don't know if unfortunately is a big enough word though, Brandon. I mean, you know, when somebody is kidnapped, I mean, there's a show, the first 48 hours are important. And with the kidnapping, I'm assuming as somebody's never been in law enforcement, the first 2 or 3 or 4 hours before people can make it to an airplane or the state line are crucial. And now that this young lady has done this, if a detective or a cop hesitates for half an hour, kind of drags his or her feet because they don't want to be, you know, misled again, that could be the difference between somebody's
that's
life.
a good point.
I don't think we really understand the gravity of what this young woman just did. It's a fool me once situation.
It is, and now it dilutes the whole message. As you were saying, I want to put up a full screen of 2 people of color that are missing, and this is legitimate. I think what you said is so important, Lindsay, that if you do see or know anything about these 2 people, please let us know. This is Kimberly Harrington and LaQuanta Riley. We wanted to emphasize that it's so important that we also show this, even though it was a hoax, that we take it seriously.
And because that you just showed a serious manner, this girl should be doing some sort of community service.
I agree
where
with
she's
you. I think
working
she
with
should do
teens
some
that have
time.
been
I agree.
trafficked, people who have been kidnapped. She should not time, but she should be giving her time to people who really have been kidnapped.
I don't know. As a
and has been
deterrent, this has
suffered.
there's going to be copycatters left and right. This is all Jussie Smollett. You'll never guess who could be returning to Empire.
Good transition.
Thank you. It is Jussie Smollett. Yes, he might get a chance to appear on the show one last time. He was written out after he claimed he was a victim of hate crime in Chicago. But now the Empire showrunner is saying it would be weird to end the show without seeing him. Would it? Would it be weird? I don't think it'd be weird. I think it's weird to add him back in.
I can't stand Empire, but listen, I would watch this if it was on.
That's why they're
what does
doing
that say
it.
about me and everybody else who will
But
tune
that's
in?
why they're
Probably
doing
not
it.
a lot, but listen, I got to be honest, I would watch this.
If they write him back in, they
Everyone's
have to be
watching.
creative with the storyline. His character has to
Have you
commit
seen
some sort
Empire?
of false crime. No.
It's
it has
ridiculous.
to.
They're very creative with the
I understand
storyline.
that, but for Jussie Smollett, and for people who don't know why we call him Jussie Smollett, go and watch the Dave Chappelle Sticks and Stones stand up.
Yeah.
That's why we call him Jussie Smollett.
I think it's an indictment of who we are as a people. I mean, we're so easily manipulated. Forget Juicy. Let's talk about the Peloton girl. She was in a Peloton ad. Everybody got mad. Sticks and stones, pitchforks at the door. Now what? What'd she do after that? She landed a gin commercial. Now she's landed another
no
role.
one's mad at her.
No, it's the anger. That's what this country does to you. Everybody thinks, oh, I'm so mad. This country, we are a capitalistic society. They take your anger, they package it, and they sell it back to you.
El
And it
Chapo's
happens
wife is
over
an example
and over
of that.
and over again. So enjoy it. Well done in the greatest ad campaign ever, Juicy and Peloton girl. Well done.
Don't lump
Whoever
them
your
together.
agents are.
Peloton lady's nice.
Yeah,
Jussie Smollett
how do you know
is a
they're nice?
fool.
They just got they got their name in the paper for whatever reason. Like Erica said, fame, shame is all the same game. People now know their name, and they're now landing roles. All that matters is your checking account.
But the girl didn't have a rope around her neck.
Period.
She just had big eyebrows.
Well, he's going to get a check from Fox for whatever he did.
Man, justice
and
for
justify the means.
Justice.
If you guys are really mad, we wouldn't see him. Y'all ain't mad. Y'all gonna turn in, or you gonna tune in and watch. Get your popcorn.
Find your right camera, Al.
I don't. Well, where's
Sorry.
yours?
Okay,
Yeah, you messed it up too.
Okay,
Looking everywhere.
you've got to see these photos that are going viral. They show a group of African-American medical students from Tulane University, Mazel Tov from graduating. They are posing at a former slave plantation in Louisiana. They say the photos illustrate the connection between their past and their presence and the power of resiliency. I think photos, to me, if you know I'm an art history major, art and history together, a photograph can say a million things about history and art.
You said that about the R. Kelly picture.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. The idea of this picture, especially with them with, I think, the fists raised, coming from a slave plantation to be healers in a community is emotional for me. How do you guys feel about it?
The caption on the photo said, "We are truly our ancestors' wildest dreams."
Yes.
And to think about in 1856 to go from slavery 5 generations to Obama being president is a huge deal. And to have, I have a 104-year-old great grandmother who's still alive. To see that she was alive and her direct relatives were slaves, and my dad is the first graduate of to go to college in his whole family. It's not lost on me that I had the ability to fail because my parents gave me the opportunity to do that when that was never a comfort that was given to any black person, even when they were coming up in the 60s with Jim Crow and everything. So to see how close we are to that, I think is a real thing, and just we have to all be aware of that and just be grateful.
Well said, Lindsay. Well said. That was incredible. I can't find my camera either. DBL is live and coming up. Marlo Tom is on DBL for the first time, from her iconic career to her work with St. Jude. And the moment she got me choked up, don't miss the interview. And you, the viewer, are our 5th host. A Netflix comedy special is coming under fire for portraying Jesus Christ as gay. Should the show be banned? Your comments next.
Hi, DBL Nation. Happy Wednesday. Kelly Schubert here, the DBL Digital team. Thanks for joining us today. We're all getting ready for Christmas and Hanukkah around here. Let us know what you're doing. Are you making any cookies at home? Are you wrapping presents? What are you doing? And do you have all your holiday shopping done? I think I do. Kind of. I don't really know. I always end up buying things last minute, even though it's silly that I do that. I don't know why I do that, but I do. All right, let's go to the desk and see what's going on with our host now that I've chatted your ear off.
Paul, let Brandon handle it.
Hi, what's going on up here, guys?
You shouldn't.
I know. You don't think I've been told by my boss?
Listen,
Yeah, and I don't know if it's...
Tori and I disagree on politics often, but Brandon jumped down my throat today and played socks.
You handled it perfectly.
And hats off to Brandon
Hats off to
for
Brandon.
digging up 1901 socks. And socks are sound on tapes and trying to make me say, oh, well, Mitch McConnell had to change her heart. I know there's
sound
something
on
going
tape.
on there.
That famous clip that Brandon showed is going viral because of the Lindsey Graham switch. So good on you to bring it up. Great on you.
Justice for Juicy.
See, Brandon's not a one-dimensional character. He knows a lot about Juicy Smollett. He also knows a lot about
There are people, they don't
Mitch
have no
McConnell
clue
back in
what we're talking about
1901.
when we say Juicy.
I don't know why you're calling him Juicy Smollett. I don't get it.
You haven't seen the Dave Chappelle stand-up Sticks and Stones?
No, I'm sorry.
That's
Oh,
where
it's
that
so
comes from.
good.
That's where that
Oh,
It's so
God, okay.
provocative and so good.
That's where that comes from.
Oh, God. So good.
Juicy Smollett.
Smollett.
Can I be honest?
Smollett.
Do you think that
His sister's a really nice girl, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's in a lot of smaller productions.
Do you think that if he hadn't then gone back to sue the city of Chicago for $100 million, he would have just kind of disappeared a little bit?
Empire let him go as soon as they heard. this
Right,
might
but
be a
why
hoax.
sue this? That's what I don't get. Why are you coming back?
Because think about it, like I thought about it before. Whenever, let's say a news host, like let's say Robin Roberts, for example, has like a cancer thing going on, everyone rallies behind her and her fan base probably quadruples, right? So if this is something that happened to him that was unfortunate, then your fan base quadruples. You probably thought it was a great idea, but when you put like a noose involved in the middle of the dead of the winter in Chicago.
But why are you now suing after we all know it was a hoax? We're all making fun of your name. We're all doing stuff like that.
Now he can't get booked for anything.
But why are you suing? Oh,
He doesn't want to be
thinks
broke.
maybe he can get a
Tori, that's why people sue. You know that.
Well, guess what? I have shoes.
You did?
Check out the shoes. Check out the shoes.
I'm more loose. Yeah, I like it more. It's like more serious. That was was a good shot of David Briggs, our stage manager. Well, welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host. A very controversial new Netflix Christmas comedy has 2 million people outraged. The First Temptation of Christ depicts Jesus as gay. And although the Brazilian filmmakers are known for religious satire, many Christians aren't laughing. The film's star calls the backlash homophobic, but many Christians say the movie is vulgar and blasphemous. So DBL Nation, should this movie be banned?
Okay, so Michelle from Facebook says, it's a comedy. Geez, don't watch it if it offends you. So I love comedy. I love to laugh and make jokes out of a lot of things. But I text one of my friends who studies Brazilian culture and speaks Portuguese, and she wrote back this: Brazilians are mostly evangelist Christians. They put Christianity above most things. I'm not surprised that they're outraged by this. To them, Jesus is nothing to laugh about. Satire is okay, but not when it comes to their God. So it's pretty serious.
That's very, I can understand that.
Very sacrilegious. Patty from Facebook says, if this made fun of any other religion, it would be banned. I don't necessarily agree with you on that one, because there is a show called Black Jesus that's on Adult Swim. They're in their 3rd season right now, and it's about a black Jesus that lives in Compton. He's smoking weed and stuff. Although I don't like that. I don't want to see these type of images when it comes to anyone's prophet or anyone's God. But at the same time, it's artist expression.
Very interesting.
All right, Leland. I like that name. Leland from Facebook. Yeah, it's kind of old school, but new
If
school.
you're a boy or girl, what do you think? Boy or girl? It's fabulous.
I would think it'd be a boy. You call him Lee.
Fabulous.
Yeah, all right.
I like
Leland from Facebook says, it's free speech. Do I love it? No. Leland, way to look at it. I mean, you know, what Brandon was just saying, it's like, does he find it offensive a little bit? But he allows the space for it to exist. And if we want to go down this road that you guys want to go down, where we decide what everybody finds is outrageous and offensive, we can do that. And at the end, we'll have nothing. There are people that are offended at language. There are people that are offended at just images. There are people that are offended at humor. There are people that are offended at fat jokes. There are people that are offended at skinny jokes, at racial jokes. Whether you like it or not, you always have the ability to watch it, but you want to always have that ability. And once that's taken away, that's going to be a dark day for creativity, and I'm all against it.
Can I ask you, too, don't you think that comedy has changed a little bit, though? Because we used to be able to make jokes like Richard Pryor, but we have moved past that, where people are
have
offended,
we moved past
like you
it, or
said.
have we gone too far the other way?
I don't think people are offended.
I don't think people are offended either.
I think people need a reason to keep their blog going, to keep subscriptions coming in.
I think it's called outrage
they look
porn,
for
and they
look
need
for
it.
things to be offended at.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Paul John from Facebook says, I could see this being a problem if it was publicly broadcast, but it's on Netflix and you have to pay for it. I've seen worse things on South Park. Great point. That's a great point. Also, Mel Brooks did Springtime for Hitler, and it was like this major thing in the producers, and he's sort of mocking Hitler as sort of this gay, flamboyant character, and it's satire. Now, I get Hitler is not a god, and I understand we can make fun of that, but Jesus Christ himself had a ton of haters. He was used to that being a prophet that people didn't like in the beginning. I think as a satire, it's an interesting piece to see Jesus as a marginalized character, because he was marginalized back then. He didn't have a lot of followers, if you know his historical context. So I applaud it. I don't like banning anything or censoring.
All right.
Go ahead, girl.
Yeah. Drop the mic. Do we have a mic to drop?
Wow. Right? All right. Coming up on DBL, she's an actress, producer, author, and philanthropist. Marlo Thomas is on DBL and talking about what matters to her most. I don't have any comments on Fifth Host, which is very sad.
XOOX says, as a person who believes in Jesus, this doesn't bother me. Jesus has haters in his day, and he has them now. They can portray him as gay, white, black, etc. It doesn't matter. It only matters how you see him.
I love that, because like you said, like I watched a couple episodes of Black Jesus, and I was like, oh, this is stupid. But at the end of the day, when I go to church, or if I watch a sermon on YouTube, I see Jesus the way that
You see Jesus,
I'm intended to see Jesus.
Right, but didn't that guy just get fired from SNL just for making a joke about, or was it not?
No, it was about Asian Americans.
Right. So if people and cultures are off the table. Some people take religion more seriously than anything, above all things, you know? So why is that not off the table?
I don't think a lot of people looked at that. What was his name? Shane Gillis?
Yeah.
Who I think I've met before.
He had a lot of tweets that were weird.
Yeah, I just think a lot of people didn't think that the things you were saying were jokes.
Got it.
And I think that's when you insult somebody, it's just insulting, the easiest way to get around is being like, oh, Lindsay, you know it's joking. You know, but you know when somebody's
it's a joke
joking.
too late. Like now it's a
you know
joke.
when somebody's joking when they're not, and and I'm all for free speech. I don't see why if that's hired them, they should have stuck by it. That's their decision. Or you vet somebody better. And I think maybe that's where we're headed, is just like hiring millennials to do vetting, because I think old people are doing it and people are slipping through the cracks. That was on his podcast.
Game 3. Talkwalkerlife.com.
Welcome back to DBL. It is not every day that you get to hear from a TV legend and have the opportunity to help save thousands of children. I caught up with one of my heroes, Marlo Thomas, about how you can support St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in today's very cryy Chatting with the Stars. Marlo Thomas, welcome to DBL. Now, you made history as the star of That Girl when you were only 26. Hello. How has Hollywood changed since then?
Oh, my goodness. Well, when I did That Girl, I was probably one of the only women other than Lucille Ball who produced her own show.
Yes, girl.
And I was That Girl. I was kind of a freak. I remember going to these meetings at the network, and there were no other women except some poor assistant who poured the coffee, but there was nobody else.
Now, I want to get to your TV legend father, Danny Thomas. Many people don't know he's the producer of, let's say, Andy Griffith Show. We've got the Dick Van Dyke Show. He also helped start St. Jude, where I really want to get to with you. Talk to me about St. Jude, and I'm not sure people know about the amount of money that is spent each day and how much money is expected from the parents and the children. Tell us about it.
It's really called America's Hospital because the children come from all over America, and our research is delivered to every hospital and laboratory all across America and across the world, really. And it's America that helps us pay for it, because we don't have any paying customers at St. Jude. My father made a promise that no family would ever pay St. Jude for anything, not travel or housing or food or treatment, nothing. So that's a very big nut we have to crack every day. It costs $2.8 million a day.
A day?
$2.8 million a day to run St. Jude, to take care of the children for free, to also pay for this great amount of treatment and clinics and so forth, and then the research.
I just want to let you know really quick that we know Danny Thomas gets a lot of support and recognition. I just want to let you know, I don't think that you get enough credit for saving so many children's lives. So I just want you to accept that, because we here really do.
Thank you.
Like, we can't even tell you how much you don't get enough credit. Now, how can
That's
our
very
viewers...
kind of you.
Well, now I'm crying and I have an ugly cry, so this is terrible. Now, how can our viewers support the St. Jude's Thanks and Giving campaign?
Well, this is a time of year to give thanks for the healthy kids in your life and to give to those who are not. So you can go shopping. We have all these wonderful partners. I can't name all of them. You can go to stjude.org and see all 60 of them.
Now, really quick before we end, your children's project, Free to Be You and Me, inspired so many kids, including myself. It is the soundtrack of my childhood. I knew I was going to lose it. Hearing your voice is crazy to me right now. I want to ask you, do you realize how you raised a generation of children that felt safe being themselves? I'm talking
I'm glad
trans,
that
everything. So do you know that?
I've heard that, and I'm glad you've all turned out so well, or I'd be really guilty.
We're all terrible, right? Oh, man, it has been such a childhood honor. Marlo Thomas, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey. Happy Christmas.
I love her. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Beauty Blasters, what's up? It's Jeray for the Slay, and today we're talking about that skin that slays. Now, you all have beautiful skin. Don't get me wrong, everyone's beautiful on the inside or whatever, but sometimes we need to update that skincare routine a little bit more to get that glow. Okay, did y'all catch that? That glow. All right. Now, for today's topic, we're talking about toning and the joys of using a toner. Now, it's not as crazy as it used to be. I know you guys are all rolling your eyes at home thinking, oh my gosh, here we go. He's going to talk about some sea breeze. Not today, honey. Toners have changed a lot over the years, and as much as we all hated using them when in our teens and how much it dried out our skin with all that alcohol content, in today's world, we actually have much more toners to fit every type of skin type. It's not just for oily or acne-based skin anymore. So let's go ahead and break down a couple for you guys. My favorite is using a gentle toner, something that will simply help to make sure to take off any remnants of makeup after you wash your face and before you apply your moisturizer onto your skin. Now, you don't want it to be too drying and you don't want it to be too active at the same time. So to start, I love the First Aid Beauty Exfoliating Toning Wipes. Now, these guys are little circle pads that are predisposed with serum in them to help to make sure that we are brightening, hydrating, and keeping that skin looking beautiful, honey. Okay. Now, another thing you can also use is a oil control toner. These guys are still out here, but we don't have to use that high alcohol content once again. One of my favorites for these guys is actually from Ole Hendrickson, or you can always check out the Ultra Facial Oil Control Toner from Kiehl's. This guy is amazing for balancing out your skin if you might be a little bit excessively oily, and it's also going to help to make sure that we're minimizing and tightening those enlarged pores if you're more on the oily skin type. Now, another great toner is going to be for radiance in the skin. This guy is one of my favorites and what I use on my skin every night. Peter Thomas Roth Glycolic 8% Toner is amazing for improving radiance and uneven skin tone as well. Now for all of these, all you want to do is either take it out of the package or take a separate cotton round and go ahead and disperse your product onto your cotton, taking it from your T-zone outwards to make sure that we're smoothing any of that extra makeup right off of our skin and applying the serum where we need it. Now, you guys check out some of those toners. There's every type of toner from drugstore to prestige. So let me know your favorites down below or write me on any social media platform at Jure for the Slay. We'll see you guys next time.
Welcome back. We have to give a big DBL bullseye shout out to darts player Fallon Sherrick. First off, great name. Second of all, she became the first woman ever to beat a man in a world championship match. You have got to see this. Take a look.
All he's got is a bullseye.
So we're on the edge of history. 36 left for Fallon Sherrick.
Game. And Fallon Sherrick smashes the glass ceiling and wins at the World Darts Championship.
Darts!
Wow. Lindsay, tell us about how historic that was, Lindsay.
Who knew that would be able to happen in our lifetime?
Lindsay goes, just for to be real, Lindsay's like, do not go to me with the dart thing. I know nothing about darts.
But I appreciate that she won.
That's good. Same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.